Hello everyone! So today is a video I've been procrastinating accidentally for probably since the start of this channel. I've continuously kept an updated list, and instead today I just decided to list out every single figure that's ever become really like a grail in a way. At least that I think of. I'm sure I've missed someone on this list. Actually, I know I have, because they just popped in my head because they had a reprint. But I figured it'd be interesting to see, since the start of the channel to now, how many of these Grail figures I've actually been able to find. I will note ahead of time that a couple of my Grail figures I did find before I even made the channel, so they're not even in the list. Like the Sho Kurusu Alter Scale figure, that was one of my big Grails I'd always wanted, along with this Astolfo, which I forget who made him, and the Wedding Miku are just a couple different examples of figures that I really loved. And to be fair, I think I got them closer to release date, so that's why they're not here, because I managed to get them in that time frame that they were released. But here's the ridiculously long list of Grails that I have had over the years. So the first one I'm just going to start with is actually the one I forgot to put on the list, and it is the Darling in the Franxx 02 bunny. I really love her just expression and everything, and I decided a while ago that if I was going to collect a 02, this is the one figure I would purchase. And so when her reprint was announced for this exact version, I like the white bunny's really cute, but I really liked this red bunny outfit, so I was so happy about the reprint that I just went on Goodsmile and just put the order in, which I will have to worry about paying for that later, but my order's in at least. This next one I have been unable to find for years, and it is the Chii 1/7 scale figure, which is a Goodsmile, gorgeous figure, constantly in people's like top I want to collect this figure lists and whatnot, and I can't find her. Like, the one time I had a chance to pick her up, someone already bought her, so I was like, oh, okay. And then I had a second chance that might have been possible, but it was a brand new copy, so it was $600, which I totally get them wanting that much because that figure is really hard to get. And I'm just like, I don't really have $600 for a 1/7 scale. So I'm like, that's almost a Dolphy. Like, I'd rather go find Dolphy. That's a whole other can of worms about Dolphys, but one I'd love to have. I even have, there's a little tiny Freya right here, and I've got a little acrylic standee of her too, so I'd love to have some more Chobits merchandise, because it's just those two, and then I have Cheese and Android. Let's see, the next one we have, I think this is a Goodsmile, it's Madoka Kaname's 1/8 scale figure where she is sitting, and she's just a really cute figure. It also kind of holds some nostalgia for me in a way, because this is a picture on one of the Y Schwartz cards, and I used to play my Madoka Magica decks a lot. So this one also kind of just has some extra like memories attached to it in a way, so kind of another reason why I want it. Arvin, it's Madoka, and I just love the posing and everything about her on that scale figure. It's a super cute figure. And I actually really like sitting figures too. I know a lot of people hate them, but I actually really like them. So the next one is another quasi-sitting figure. It is the Asuka Gothic Lolita figure. The one that's technically on my list is the old pressing, but there is the new press. So they did like update her features in the new pressing, so kind of one of those like, that's cool, but I honestly don't care which version of her I get, because I just love that figure, and I'd be okay with either. Now, a figure I've never really seen anyone sell, probably because there's like no big figures for her. It is from Tenchi Muyo, Ryoko's 1/4 bunny that Freeing did, I forget how many years ago, but it's like the only big figure she's had since like blister card figures that are like these little tiny things. So I just would love to have her, because it's just really nice bunny too, but I don't know where to find her, so that's why she's still chilling out on that list of figures I'd love to get. So the next one we have is from Pat, I forget how you're supposed to say their company name, but that company, Miyamoto Musashi 1/7 scale figure, This is a gorgeous figure, and I actually own several figures from that company, but I just can't find that Musashi. She's always like $400 when I have found her, which I have considered greatly, but I've also just never had the money fully, so that one's been a struggle. I even saw someone today being like, I want to downsize my Fate collection because I don't want like 30% of my anime figure collection being Fate, and I'm sitting here like, meh, I don't really care anymore. Fate be everywhere, I don't care. Like, I've got a Nero right there that's staring at me. There's actually an Orishkagirl hiding behind me too. Like, I love Fate, so it is like a part of my personality at this point. So I'm just gonna tackle all of these girls at once. It is the Binding 1/4 scale Nekopara figures. Now, I did manage to finally track down the Vanilla, which I am super thankful about. She wasn't cheap, but I have her and she's gorgeous, and it just made me fall in love with this figure line even more. And that's true. And I did have the Maple and Cinnamon. So really what I'm missing is about half of the girls now. So we're making some progress, but Chocola is really expensive to find because that's everyone's favorite, so everyone wants her, so she's always the most consistently expensive. I think Azuki's the easiest to get, but like even in Japan she's still also hard to get too, because like even though she should be the most accessible, she just doesn't pop up that often, so she might be more affordable, but good luck finding her. And like the Coconut is a very mixed bag, and if you couldn't find her, some weeks I have found like 6 different copies of her on the same website. Other weeks I will find nothing. So it's such a weird figure to chase down. So 2 more figures are actually getting a re-release, which is crazy how much stuff is on here actually getting a re-release. It is the Aniplex Ultimate Madoka and Devil Homura. Now the Ultimate Madoka I have pre-ordered. The Devil Homura, I just wasn't paying attention to the calendar and missed her pre-order deadline, which there was a lot of tears involved. So I'm hoping I can catch her when she pops back up on Otaku mode, because that was really depressing. Of course, Otaku mode will instantly take my money, so I'm hoping in the background I can somehow find like the $250 it is to purchase her, because I really want that figure so badly. It is one of my favorites, and I mean, I just love Madoka in general too, so I'm like, I gotta have it. Alright, so continuing Madoka, I think this is probably like the last Madoka figure on here, is the Ultimate Madoka Goodsmile figure. This figure I actually have on order. She will be here like within the week, so I'm super excited about that because I pre-ordered her reprint when it went up like immediately. I was like, I don't care, I'm getting it from Goodsmile. Cool, an extra poster, sweet. So yeah, this is a dream come true. I don't know where I'll put her as usual, but she's gonna look amazing on the shelf. And I'm finally one step closer to having the Madoka figures I've desired for years. So the next little chunk we're gonna go into is the Tony's Heroine collection that I like to get. Now I'm missing like a bunch of the other girls he's done, and it is a goal of mine to someday collect all of those girls, but I have just the main section of girls that I really wanted to collect on my list here for today's purposes, which is Freesia, Daisy, and Annabelle. These 3 figures are the ones I've actually found. It took a really long time compared to when they released, so that was painful, but I actually got them at I think retail, so I'm happy with that. It just took time. Now the 2 I am missing out of the 5 figures for the Heroine collection set that I was specifically looking for in general is the alternate versions of Daisy and Annabelle, where they're, I think, both sitting. So they look really nice and I'd love to have them, but these figures are a little obnoxious to chase down. And then of course, every time when I find them, I just don't have the budget for them. So that's the travesty of them. But I hope to someday actually chase them down and put them in my collection. Another figure I've always wanted that was just way too expensive when it got released, and it just got even more ridiculous after it released, so like I really should have found it sooner, is the Love Live Valentine Nico and Maki. I just really like this figure, and I also failed to get their cards in the game. So I also wanted this figure for that purpose as well, because Nico's one of my favorite. Maki like wasn't originally like one of my favorites, but I've come to just adore all 9 girls, so like I will buy any and all Love Live figures pretty much. So this one's just really nice, and I love just the style of it, and it's another one of those 2-person figures, so they're very neat to me, but they're also always not cheap, like that ReZero set back there. None of those types of figures are cheap ever. We're going to do 3 figures at once again, and this is for the Idolmaster Love Letter collection. We have Uzuki Shimamura, Kyoko Igarashi, and Miho Hinata. These 3 figures, mainly, I never even finished Idolmaster because it got delisted off of Crunchyroll. But I have a bunch of like the voice cards and stuff, and I will occasionally listen to their music, but I really loved these figures since they got released, and I'm like, I'd love to have them, and 2 of them will pop up every little bit. Uzuki's the hardest to get out of the 3 of them, so that's been a little obnoxious because I don't see her that often. But the other 2 girls, I actually just found them on AmiAmi really recently, and they're like $80 a piece, and I'm like, that's so easy for my budget, but like, I don't have that extra money. Like, not really. So we've got 2 Noragami figures here. I'm just going to do them at once because I don't know where to find these things, and they've been going for like $400. Again, is the Yato G.E.M figure, and then the Hiyori World Uniform, which I really liked the World Uniform figure line, but I also know it is not like one that's going to like take your eyeballs out with its quality, because it's an old figure line. So going into this, I'm quite aware of that, but I just can't find any copies that I can even begin to afford, because those are like the only 2 Noragami figures. And there's a Bishamon. I forgot her on my list, actually. There's 3 Noragami figures, and they're all really, really expensive. But I am thankful for the Nendroid of Yato that Goodsmile announced, so very excited for that, because it's a figure I can actually afford instead of like selling my liver for it. Back to Fate real quick, we have the Astolfo casual jumping figure, which I actually posted an unboxing for within the last year, because I picked him up at Anime Boston, and that was an absolute dream come true. Alright, so the next one up on the list is another Love Live, is the Nico Picnic version, which I believe is a Goodsmile figure, if I'm not mistaken, which... this figure is fairly affordable, and I do see it pop up every little bit. I've honestly been a little lazy about picking it up because I just don't really have the shelf space for her. Of course, I say that as new pre-orders come in, and then I like make shelf space. Another figure is the Deep Sea Girl Hatsune Miku Goodsmile version, which I just always loved this figure, but I do actually own that. She lives on my media shelf, and she looks fantastic up there. And I mean, there's only like 3 Deep Sea Girl figures anyway, so it's just really nice to have her because I do love that song too. The next one we've got is 2017 Racing Miku Kimono version, which was unboxed on this channel because like 2 or 3 Bostons ago I actually got her at that con, which is one of my favorites. I just wish the cats hadn't knocked her over one day and like messed up one of her pigtails, but she's all good now because I glued it, but I don't know how I'm exactly going to get it out of her head when it's time to, like, move, because I'm inevitably going to need to move at some point. Alright, and one of my big grails that I just got this year is the Hatsune Miku My Dear Bunny 1/4 scale figure, which this is just an absolute dream come true. I adore this figure so much because she actually has this outfit in the game. And I always use it with Hand in Hand, the song, in case you are not familiar with Miku songs. So I love this bunny, and I am so happy that they did an exact reprint of her, because it's just one I adore. Now I know some people are like, bunnies are so overrated now and stuff, and like not a thing, but I just really like how a lot of them look, or at least the ones of my favorite characters. They're just super cute, and they're honestly a lot better for my shelves too, because they're not quite as wildly posed. or I'm gonna pick on Coco again, but like they're not that wide. They're just tall and big, but they're definitely not that wide for my shelf. So they don't pose quite as many problems as stuff like this. Because even though this looks super cute and nice and it's fun, like where do I put this? Like, I have her chilling out on a spot next to my desk because that's like the only spot she fits. Like, she's not very shelf friendly. Like, I love figures like this where they're super small, compact, will fit on any shelf. Like, I could have put her here if I wanted to, and I wanted to keep her with Chocola, so that's why I didn't put her back there. But stuff like this is just really nice, which I think partially why I collect so many bunnies. Alright, so we're going to do 2 Date Alive figures next. It is the Kurumi Tokisaki and Tohka Yato G.E.M cat version figures. Technically, I think they both have pink versions, but I managed to just find the whites of both of them, so I just picked them both up because I really like the cat girl like style figures, and these I just thought were super cute where Kurumi has like a cat scratching tower kind of. And then Toka's like sitting on like a cloud or something. And it's super cute, and she's eating her bread. So I was just like, I love these figures. And they're not like, their bases are a little bit wide, but overall they're like pretty compact too, and are nice to layer with stuff. So that's definitely a plus about having them. Now this figure I just chased down within the past half year, which honestly sometimes I still can't believe when I look over it and I see it. Like, I'm looking at it right now and I'm like, how is that actually on my shelf? But the Vividred Akane and Aoi scale figure from Griffin Enterprise. This one's such an old figure, and I could never find this stupid thing. Like, I have searched since it's been released. Like, I just could not find it. In the time I could find it, it was this random person on eBay that wants like $600 for its seal. And I'm like, wow, that's an old figure that's not like super big for $600. I'm like, that's a Dolphy. Like, I'd buy a Dolphy when the girl's in a heartbeat, but that figure is not a Dolphy. So I'm like, I cannot rationalize that. So this figure was acquired at the start of the channel as the Honoka White Day outfit. I just love this figure. She's like, I think my #1 muse girl. Of course, depending on the day and figure, I might disagree. But overall, I just absolutely adore this figure. Now, I would love to get the Kotori and Umi to go with her as well, but I am just so happy to have just the Honoka at the very least. But it's just such a gorgeous figure, and even though it's not like a $300 figure, its quality is amazing. It's an altar figure, and I really like their work. Now, I know some people like really hate on their figure company, but I think they do a fantastic job on their figures. So, alright, now a figure I have never seen anywhere is the Chii and Freya figure, which there's a couple different versions of this, because correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there is a standard release of it, and then there's also like a garage kit of it that you can put together. But good luck finding those. I also can't find the Chii made figure, which I'd love to acquire, like so many other people, but I can't find that. Alright, last two. Second to last is, it's technically called Saber Bride, but it's Nero Bride from Fate Grand Order. It is the special edition version of her 1/8 scale with the, like, I think it's supposed to be flowers at her feet. It just looks really nice, and like, the standard edition's okay, but I just really like the look of the special because, like, it just looks a little bit more natural. Now, it will be a nightmare on my shelf, but if I can find her someday, I would be very happy because I also just cannot get her in the game. And I love Nero. And my last figure is Hatsune Miku Trick or Treat scale figure, which I know this had a reprint and I just didn't have money for it, so I skipped it, which kind of hurt me in a way, but I knew it was going to be, again, we're picking on Coco, this style figure that is just a menace with how wide it is. It's going to have a big base and just not. That was my problem. Now, I do know this circulates the pre-owned sections every little bit, so I'm hoping I can acquire her off pre-owned section at some point, but unfortunately she has to take a little bit of a backseat because I just don't have the shelf space for her. So that is all of the figures that have like ever been on my Grail list, which was quite long. It's like a really long span of time worth. And probably a little bit bloated compared to people's normal Grail list. Like, I think you're supposed to only have like 10 figures on it, but this one's just so long because of this is the long list over the years that didn't get fixed. And I'll leave a tally in the description and or in the comments as well, just showing like how many of them I've actually found, since that was the whole purpose of this, was to see how many I have and how many I don't. So thank you so much for watching today, and hopefully you enjoyed it, and have a good one. Bye!